So I just wrote a post about this, but it's really helpful for me and a great practice to make a video and to talk on here, because it's one of those things, every time a video gets turned in my way, I turn into a weird, awkward, dorky, expression part of myself. I don't even know what it is that comes out of me when a video gets turned on. So it's probably a really good thing for me just to continuously put a video camera in my face. Whether I even share it, whether it even ends up going out to anybody and anyone ever ends up seeing it, doesn't really matter, because it's on my own little process of becoming more and more confident or at peace with the emotions that come up within me when, I'm in any situation, including having a video camera turned in front of my face. So the post that I just wrote, I'd love to talk about, is pretty much just to sum it up, that each one of us has this inner knowing of who it is that we want to be. We have our own internal guidance system. We have our own internal compass. And I believe that before we came here to this planet, that we had an idea of what it was we were coming to this lifetime to experience, to express, to realize about ourselves. And although we're all on the same journey home, ultimately we're on the pathway of self-discovery and self-realization, and you want to call that, we're going to the place of enlightenment, we're enlightening ourselves, we're starting to, well, not everybody, but when they're ready, we will start to realize that we're not our mind, we're not this body, we're not this material stuff, where this is not who we are. This is just the illusion of life. So we are all on this journey of realizing who we are. However, the pathway to that, there's infinite pathways to that. There's not just one pathway to that. There are pathways, and there are billions of pathways. In fact, there is as many pathways back to the realization of ourself as there are people on this planet, because that's our unique kind of blueprint back to ourselves. And so I feel that it's really easy, and there's no right and wrong. No matter which path you take, you'll figure it out. We all will. There are a lot of people out there who are looking for guidance, and there's a lot of people out there giving you guidance, and this is beautiful. It's a great thing. I think we should all search. I think if we have things to offer, we should offer. There's no shoulds or shouldn'ts, just whatever's happening in this world is perfect, and I really, and I love it all, actually. I have a really massive sense of respect and love for every person who is on this planet. It's a tough game, but at the same time, I feel that the fastest way back to yourself is to really, really, really listen to the calling of your own heart. And nobody knows exactly what that pathway is. And if you listen to that, it may take you on the most wild adventure. You might find that you end up in a situation where it looks like everybody's doing one thing, and they're saying, this is spiritual, this is where we're at right now, this is what needs to be happening. And you might know inside of yourself, I really need to go in the opposite direction. Or for me right now, I really feel like I need to be focusing on this thing, and it may be different than what the mass, especially conscious community, is doing. And that's totally fine. Like, follow your heart, because the specific lessons, I don't really think we're here to learn lessons. I think we're remembering things. But the specific experiences that you came here to have may not be when you're walking in the direction that everybody else seems to be walking in. It may be that you came here to feel what it felt like to walk in the opposite direction. Maybe you came here to really sit with loneliness in this lifetime, and to make peace with loneliness, and break through the illusion of loneliness and reconnect back into source. Maybe you came here to know what it felt like to be unconditional in this lifetime. So maybe your path is a path of many, many, many different challenging and painful situations coming up in your life, giving you an opportunity again and again and again to be unconditional. Maybe you came to this lifetime to experience forgiveness. And so in order to experience forgiveness, maybe you've gone through some really, really tough shit. Maybe you've had some horrible things happen to you, but without those things, you would never have an opportunity to forgive, because what would you forgive if you didn't have anything to forgive? So each one of us within our hearts had, I think, a desire and an intention before we came to this planet, and only you can navigate your way through that to come into the full expression of yourself and the full understanding of those things. So I'd say don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Stay open to learning. Just leave yourself wide open to allowing yourself to experience and take on information. Don't shut things out. I think that is a way to shut down our own growth. Just because you don't like one thing somebody said or you don't resonate with one thing, still stay open, because everybody has something beautiful to share. But then turn back into yourself and really sit with what feels right for you and give that a go. And you know what? Maybe you don't know yet. Maybe you're so clouded in your head with all the thoughts and opinions of other people, and you're trying to figure it out, and you're trying to get through this forest of beliefs and thoughts in your head, trying to figure out what's right and what's wrong, and you genuinely can't feel the difference between what's coming from your head right now and what is the inner calling of your heart. But what I would say to that is just try and listen. Sit down sometimes, breathe, see if you can't quieten your mind and really feel into what is it that your heart is yearning for. And I feel that pretty much everything that comes from your heart is a feeling of expansion. It feels good. It feels like yes. It feels like, oh my God, if that was a thing that I could feel and understand and do in this lifetime, that would be amazing and expansive, and I'd feel so complete and whole. And I think that is the calling of your heart, to follow that path. I think when we're overthinking things and we're coming from our head, we feel confused and it's a little bit contracted, and it's a bit like, oh, I don't really want to do that, and oh, that feels hard, or that doesn't really set me on fire. It's the feeling of I have to do that to get there, or this is just the way it is. And it's a kind of kind of vibe to it. So I think that when we start to really tune in and listen to ourselves, we're not looking for thoughts. We're tuning into feeling. We're tuning into feelings. I could talk about this forever, and the more I'm speaking, the more I'm like, well, we're going down a rabbit hole here. Because then again, when it comes to feelings, a lot of us, because of our experiences in this life, have actually shut ourselves off from feeling anything. So it's very hard to know the difference between our head and our genuine feelings, because we kind of shut ourselves down. So if you're at that place, you may be at a point in your journey where peeling back those layers, doing the releasing work, doing trauma release, finding a good practitioner to help you express and feel and let go. Not even let go, I think let go is an interesting term, but really come to a place of peace within yourself with the experiences that you've had is necessary, like clearing those heart walls and those blocks and opening back up, opening your heart back up to feel. And this is for both men and women. I'm not really of the belief that either part of our culture, men or women, are more shut down than the other. I think that we've all been brutalized in this lifetime. It's as I might have said earlier, it is we're in a realm of duality, which means that there's a lot of pain here as well. There's a massive amount of pain. And I look at everybody on this human planet and I have so much respect for the fact that people chose to separate themselves from light, from the light realm, from the angels and from God, from Source, and forget that they were that so that they could come and have an experience of duality, which really meant going into the darkness and feeling all these things like shame and guilt and terror and loneliness and abandonment and rejection and self-hatred and self-pity and self-loathing, and on top of physical pain, actual bodily, physical, gut-wrenching pain. People are here in war, people have gone through starving and famine, people are here in experiencing sexual abuse and violence, and all of these things are here in this realm. So I really applaud people for choosing to come down and have these experiences. But if we want to evolve ourselves, the choice has to be to open back up, even though we have had these experiences, and allow ourselves to feel that all. Not so that we can be angry or resentful at the world, but so that we can actually come to a place of compassion and forgiveness, and eventually even the need to forgive disappears as you remember that you are light, you are love. Love never needs to forgive because it never judged in the first place. So we're kind of coming into this understanding of ourselves. Anyways, I have rambled on for long enough here. I have a tendency to go down rabbit holes, especially on video, because I'm not conversing with anybody, so it's just, so many thoughts, just one leading on from another, onto another. How's his life, huh? And then when I don't want to think anymore, you know what I do? I play my drum, I dance, I listen to music, I do any type of embodied practice that gets me out of my mind and into my body. I think that is actually another way that you come into feeling into your own guidance system if you feel stuck. That's it here. I'll give you another tool. Because a lot of people are like, well, I don't know what my heart wants. I don't know what my head wants. So if you feel really confused and conflicted by that, get into some embodied practices. Do yoga, play an instrument, sing, dance, whatever you can do to bring your thoughts and all the energy out of your head, because when it's all in here, we're stuck. Let's bring it into our body, taking some of that energy out of our head. And then after that, maybe even during the process, you'll find that your head clears. It gives you more access to actually feel what's in your heart. And, maybe after half an hour of doing one of these embodied practices, sit there and ask yourself, what would love do now? If I could be the highest, most beautiful version of myself, what do I see myself doing? And we know the answer. We know the answer to that. And I tell you what, our highest, most beautiful, most expansive self, there's a couple of things that it doesn't do. It doesn't lie. It doesn't judge. It doesn't hate. It doesn't reject. It doesn't look for revenge. And I tell you something, it doesn't even look for justice. It sees the divine perfection in all of creation, and I feel that love is the quickest part of ourself to just reach out and love other people, as they are. It's the first to say sorry. Sorry is an interesting one. Not if it's a statement or a confession of guilt, but sorry is in just because we don't hold on to it. Love doesn't hold on to anything. Love is the first thing to say, go be free, go be free, go be you. Love is the first thing to say it's okay, it's okay. And sometimes love is the thing to say, hey, what are you doing? Wake up. That didn't come from. Sometimes love says no, no, you're not going to do that. You're not going to project that onto me, and I'm not going to allow you to think that's okay for me. Anyways, can't really pinpoint love down. That's another whole conversation. And now I've definitely rambled on for long enough. Sending you guys so much love. Mwah. Talk later. Bye.